The treaty. Nearly 6 months had passed since the execution of Alois bin Hitler. The leaders from every major nation gathered, from the islands of Hivohe to the floating continent of Avengla, to the frozen nation of Nihon. They gathered to discuss and bear witness to the Hitler-Nemtsov agreement. 2 men from the free and diverse nation of Sirsha mingled amongst one another. "Ah, Isk, you're finally here." A man by the name of Robert spoke delightedly as his brother Iscariot entered the well-decorated suite. The walls of the room were of solid white stone, with crown moulding made of gold. Iscariot's boots percussed on the dark hardwood floors. The 2 men went to hug one another to show their brotherly affection, but before they embraced, their arms broke away from each other, and the men began to wrestle. Iscariot maneuvered to get behind Robert, and when he managed to do so, he wrapped an arm around his brother's neck. "All right, Isk, you win," Robert chuckled, still coiled in Iscariot's hold. "Well, that was quick. What's that, 5 in a row?" Iscariot said sarcastically to his brother. Iscariot released him, and the 2 men embraced with gladness in their hearts. The brothers were very close and full of love for one another. Playful shenanigans were always present between the 2, and it seemed as if nothing could separate their bond. "No, I don't think that's quite right. I think you may have forgotten how to count, Isk." Robert smirked. "You've only won today because I've let you win. I'm just a little tired from battling the Holland soldiers for the last 11 months, Robert explained, the grin still on his face. That was 6 months ago. And what was I doing? Did I not fight them too? Did I not help win the war?" asked Iscariot. "Your words, not mine," Robert said, still smiling. "Have you read this treaty we're about to sign?" "What do you think of it?" he asked, flipping through some of the pages that had been lying on a mahogany desk within the room. "To be honest, I feel quite sorry for the Holland people. Their lands are being taken away, and now the Telekine control the entire eastern portion of the continent." "And you think their land shouldn't be taken away?" "Holland still owns half the continent, and the remainder is to be split into several nations," Robert rebutted. Iscariot rolled his dark brown eyes. "I'm only saying the Telekine have the meat of the treaty in their favor, that's all." "Well, I think we can both agree the treaty seems weak. If our country joins this coalition of nations, it would be a complete breakdown of how we govern ourselves. It also puts the entire country of Holler in a serious financial dilemma in which they will surely collapse." Robert pointed out just a few of the treaty's errors. That's why it needs these other small states to keep afloat. They need to be under the rule of Holler," Iscariot interjected. "You know we can't do that. Any trace of the old regime will surely bring about an uprising and another war," Robert tried to explain. "Well, I guess we'll never know, will we? We should get ready. I'm sure Father will be upset if we're late," Iscariot said with frustration in his breath. Robert was a handsome man. He stood at 6 feet in height and had piercing green eyes. As he dressed, he threw a white cotton shirt with a high collar over his head. He ran his fingers through his long, straight brown hair that almost hit his shoulders. His slacks were trim, of brown tweed, along with his vest and frock coat. He gave himself a look over. Satisfied, he was ready for the day. Soon after he was dressed, Iscariot walked out of the room where he had been getting ready. Slightly taller than his brother, his sand blonde hair was combed back. His beard was full, yet well kept. He wore a dark checkered tweed frock jacket. His waistcoat was a solid colour of the same material that matched his slacks. Around his neck was an elegant bow tie, and atop his head rested a checkered tweed top hat. "I still look better," Robert joked. "You're quite funny. Look in the mirror once more. I think you'll change your mind," Iscariot jested in return. The 2 men walked out of the room and into a hallway of Caesar Palace. The palace resided in the city of Erbil. The people of this nation were called the Telekine, and many whom called this new nation home were of the Ivdeski religion. White walls and gold statues lined the halls towards the half-landing staircase that was outside the gentleman's suite. As they strolled through the long anteroom, they saw a behemoth of a man leaving his chambers.
Tokugawa!
Robert's voice boomed through the corridors of the manor. The creature, nearly 8 foot tall with skin like silver, turned. His veins, translucent on his skin, glowed bright white. His eyes the same color, only dimmer. His hair was black and starred with a topknot that was held together by a silver band in the form of a dragon. He was dressed in formal Nihon attire, equipped with a black and white hakama, a black haori, traditional open-toed sandals, and a haori himo.
Boys, it's great to see you. You both look much better without the strain of war on your faces. Where is your father?
Tokugawa asked. His demeanor was kind and light-hearted. He was a gentle soul, full of wisdom. "We're about to meet him downstairs," Iscariot responded. "Join us." So the man did, and the three of them walked down the staircase discussing matters deep and meaningful. "We're sorry to hear of your son, Tokugawa," Robert spoke somberly. "He was an incredible warrior."
"Thank you, boys. That is very kind. He always thought of you as brothers."
"As we did him. The news of his passing weighed greatly on my heart," Robert grieved.
"On both of ours,"
added Iscariot.
"I pray his soul has gone to Elysium,"
Tokugawa said solemnly. "I do not doubt it for a second. There's no one more worthy than Oda," Robert said in the same tone of sadness. Tokugawa smiled at them both for their admiration of and kind words for his son.